Super Bowl ceremony and their parade today in Seattle. Let Sam Darnold hoist that Lombardi in front of the fans for the first time in his career. Now, despite winning the Super Bowl, got to address a key departure this offseason as offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak took the Raiders head coaching job. Additionally, notable free agents include Super Bowl MVP running back Kenneth Walker III. However, the Seahawks have $62.4 million in cap space. That is the fourth most in the NFL. So we now say hello to Jeff Saturday, who joins us to discuss a little bit of NFL here. Saturday,
hello.
What is more likely going to happen? Seattle is one and done in terms of Super Bowls, or they've now started some sort of legacy with that defense?
Yeah, I think a budding dynasty. And again, it's hard to go back-to-back. So I want to make sure I'm not saying they're going to win, back-to-back Super Bowls, but they're going to be a contender for many years to come. And that's all you can really ask for in the NFL with the way that parity is in our game. But when you look at what Schneider and this football team has built, and when I think about teams that are dynasty-driven teams, typically they're defensive teams because we can talk about offenses all we want, but defenses ultimately win. And we just saw it play out in the Super Bowl. And you saw the Patriots get there based on how good their defense was as well. So when I look at this team, they got a ton of money. They've hit on their picks. They'll have to replace Walker or keep him. I don't see them chasing massive amounts of money for a running back. They have Charbonnet. I know he's injured and he's coming off an injury, but they've kind of planned for it. They have a good offensive line. They got a good quarterback. They got the best receiver in the game or playing like the best receiver in the game. They have good additions on there. I know Shaheed will be up, but they have Kupp who could potentially come back. Good tight ends. And then they have a defense that is fantastic and young. And so, absolutely, I look at this like a dynasty. This to me does not look like a team that's going to fall off a shelf. They look like they're still in the ascending phase as a Super Bowl champion.
I didn't realize there was duck hunting in New York. Nice job with the duck hunting.
Hey, casual Friday. You know what I mean? I see some hoodies out here.
There we go. It ain't Friday. It ain't Friday, my brother. But that's okay. We'll forgive you. Here's the deal. We used to talk about the Patriots in this way too. I'd like to remind everybody the Patriots went 10 years, 2004 to 2014, without winning the championship. And that was with Tom Brady as their quarterback and Bill Belichick as their coach. So, again, to me, dynasties talk shouldn't exist until you got a couple of chips. You don't have to have them back-to-back, but let's say like 2 and 3 years or something like that. I think we got to take that into consideration. Give Seattle a lot of credit, and Schneider, he did a lot of things right. This is his second, this is the second time in the Super Bowl. He's got a Super Bowl championship. Give him a lot of credit where credit is due. This is a man that moved on from Pete Carroll. He moved on from Russell Wilson. He moved on from DK Metcalf, and they all proved to be very valuable moves. When you look at Mike McDonald, this is a star as a head coach in the National Football League. Got to give him credit. We see Sam Darnold, we ain't missing Russell Wilson. Okay, you see in Jigba, you're not missing DK Metcalf, even though I got mad love for DK Metcalf and what he brings to the table. But in Jigba is something special. If you're the Seattle Seahawks, however, you have to re-sign some of these guys. Devon Witherspoon, you got to take care of that, brother. You got to extend him, Jeff. The same would go with Jackson Smith and Jigba. You got to extend him too. You can't lose those two guys. And Kenneth Walker, even though Charbonnet is that dude and he can ball, make no mistake about it, you coming off a nasty knee injury, you know how that works out for running backs in most situations. So chances are they'll need Kenneth Walker, but he's a free agent and he's going to look to get paid as a Super Bowl MVP. And damn it, he should, because he's shown himself to be incredibly capable. Plus, he had a 1,000-yard season, rushing for averaging 4.6 yards a carry. So the brother can play. You got to take care of these cats. If that's not going to be the case, then you know what? We're looking at the Los Angeles Rams in all likelihood, to take the division crown and win the NFC personally. I think we got to look at things from that standpoint and entertain that possibility.
Listen, they got a great defense. They're going to be very competitive. They won 10 games last year, so they're going to be competitive. Right. But Stevie's right. If you're going to talk about a dynasty, you got to win 3 out of 4, like Mahomes. I
agree with that.
You got to win. The Patriots didn't win, but they were in the mix every year until later on. You got to win 3 out of 4. That's the definition of a dynasty. And the reason why I'm going to wonder about that, this is the wrong day to do it because he's been so good. They don't have a franchise, no doubt about it, Hall of Fame quarterback. And most of your teams that are dynasty-oriented, Mahomes, Brady, Bradshaw, Starbuck, Unitas won a couple. They have that Hall of Fame quarterback, and I'm not knocking Darnold. How could you knock him? He did a great job. He was efficient there on Sunday. He was wonderful against the Rams. Everybody loves the story. But if you talk about your prototypical Hall of Fame quarterback,
that's fair.
You're not thinking of him.
Right.
And you need a guy like that, to me, to talk about a dynasty like Mahomes.
Okay.
A dynasty type of team.
But let's go back, because just you're a historian and much smarter than I am on that. Brady's Super Bowls in the beginning didn't start based on his excellence. It started because they had a defense. They won championships, and they were legit and contenders 100%. Every year, because I played them defenses. And there are a whole bunch of Hall of Famers on that side that should be
with old rules, too.
Exactly.
But don't
them
forget
dudes
that.
could go. So they began the whole journey of a dynasty. That's why I said budding, right? Like, it's not, and I want to use that. They put themselves in the position. $62 million on the cap, and the cap is going to go up as well. This team is positioned well. They're fourth in the league with money.
Okay.
And they got this team. Like, so the guys you're talking about, you got to pay.
Yeah.
You can pay them clearly and lower your cap number. The biggest win for Schneider is Sam Darnold's contract. I mean, they got him on, he is playing at a very reasonable contract for a quarterback. And he's playing to that level. So as long as guys are playing to the level of their contract, it's not like they're paying him like a Hall of Famer. They're paying him in line with what his ability was, and they won the Super Bowl on it. That's why I like where they're positioned.
Well, a couple of things. They got their $62 million in effective cap space. That's sixth in the league. We know that. They got to address issues at the right guard spot, along at the center spot as well. So we know that in terms of the offensive line. You also got a number 2 receiver in Rashid Shaheed that you got to take care of. You got to make sure you resign him, because not only is he a secondary option, a number 2 wide receiver, but he's also a Pro Bowl kick returner. So, again, the dual threat that he provides you can't ignore that. You got guys like Kobe Bryant, Rick Woolen, and obviously Walker that you got to take care of as well. I'm just looking at it from the standpoint that you got a few dudes that you want to take care of, including I talked about extending Jigba and taking care of Witherspoon as well. Those are a lot of dudes to take care of. Obviously, you've got some money to be able to do some things. So Seattle is not going to nosedive. They're not going to fall off a cliff or anything like that. But it's possible that they might lose a couple of pieces.
Sure.
And if that happens, that's a big deal. That's a big deal when you talk about chemistry and consider how tight the NFC West was. You got San Francisco and LA within that division. Let's not forget that. I mean, it's not like they ran away. I mean, the NFC Championship game, as I said, was the Super Bowl. I said that before the game was played. Yep. Those were the winner of that game was winning the Super Bowl. And we all know how tight of a game that was. When they played in the regular season, the outcome was 38-37 in Seattle. There isn't anybody here that doesn't believe that if Seattle hadn't secured home field advantage and they had to go to LA to play, that it's likely the Rams would have been in the Super Bowl instead of Seattle. That 12th man is no joke in Seattle. So we understand all of that. All of those things are things you got to take into consideration when you're looking at them moving forward, wondering and pondering what kind of future they're going to have from a dynastic standpoint. Jury is still out on that.
Yeah, I was going to bring up the division, too, because, I mean, look, this is a division that's not going anywhere. And the Rams and the Niners, when you look at what Brady and the Patriots were able to do, or even Mahomes, I mean, their division sucked, for lack of a better word, for the majority of these runs, right, for a number of years. So they had that working in their favor as well. More First Take coming up next. Clint Kubiak helped Sam Darnold win his first Super Bowl, and now he moves to the coach of the Raiders. Will Kubiak and Tom Brady